What's up, you guys? My name is Tess. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I've taken a little hiatus from Vlogmas, but I'm back. I'm better. I have a new camera, so excited to be bringing you guys some better quality videos in the future. Today's video is going to be 5 mistakes estheticians make. This may be helpful if you are a new esthetician or even if you've been in the business for a little bit. I think these are great reminders. If you guys like this video, if it's helpful at all, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't seen my face before, hi, I'm Tess. I would love if you subscribed. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the first mistake I think estheticians commonly make, and this is a mistake I made myself, is trying to figure out the right volume for your voice in the spa room. I think there's a very fine line between whispering and having a nice spa voice. You want to make sure your voice is low, comforting, but when you are speaking to your client, it is audible and they can hear your instructions and what you are saying when you're speaking to them. You're likely not going to be talking throughout the whole facial unless you have a extra chatty client, but you want to just make sure you are not whispering, as that can come across a little bit creepy, and it's definitely a mistake I made in the beginning. The next little tip kind of goes hand in hand with the first, and it is breathing on your client. This can also come across creepy, and you want to make sure during times where you're getting extra close to your client, you want to make sure you're just leaving a little bit of space, and if you have to get close up to them, try to avoid breathing on them. So if you're doing extractions, just be mindful of how close your face is, or if you're ever doing a massage, just make sure you're not in a position where your client might open their eyes mid-facial and be extremely creeped out. So just keeping an appropriate amount of distance in mind throughout the facial so that you maintain your professionalism. The third thing I wanted to mention that I think a lot of estheticians struggle with is figuring out the right amount of pressure, especially for touching the face. If you've ever had a bad massage, you probably didn't enjoy it because you felt like your masseuse was a little bit timid and they weren't quite sure of their movements. So especially for new esties where this is all new to you and you don't necessarily have that confidence yet, the best thing you can do is just focus on very intentional movements, even if they're quite simple, and just using a good firm pressure. I thought I was doing great in my facials with a super light pressure, and it wasn't until I went into a job where they were super good with feedback and hands-on training that they let me know people really want to feel a firmer pressure, and the last thing they want to feel is someone feeling like they don't want to touch their face or they're really timid. So something that's helped me, especially as someone, I feel like I have a lighter touch. I'm pretty kind of like a gentle person, I guess I would say, a little bit introverted. So I've always struggled with having a lighter pressure and wanting to make it stronger for the client. So what I always envision is literally like love pouring out of my hands. Anytime I go into a facial, I may be nervous. I try to just remember that this person is setting aside 75 minutes or so of their time because at the end of the day, they just wanted to come into a room and be touched and relax and have somebody work on their skin. So I just try to imagine love literally pouring from my hands onto them, and I always try to go into a facial and tell myself, it's kind of like if you ever see like an artist like praying before they go on stage. Before a facial, I'm always telling myself don't be timid, because it's kind of just my default to have a little bit of a lighter touch. So I always try to give a little bit more pressure than I think I need, and even so, I think that borders on being a little light. So everybody's different. Some people actually have to tone down their pressure. So if you can, give a facial to a friend if you are newer starting out and ask for their honest feedback. It's always nice to check in with a client and ask how the pressure is, because it's better to ask them in the beginning and and be able to adjust their pressure than them leave the facial feeling like, oh, she didn't even want to touch me, she was nervous, she was timid, she didn't know what she's doing, and then go home and write a Yelp review about your poor pressure. So that is my third tip. The fourth mistake I think SDs can make, especially in school and just entering the job force, is thinking of home care as kind of like a negative thing and thinking of it as just purely sales. You really have to understand that skincare is a marathon, it's not a sprint, and facials are amazing. It can really take your client's skin to the next level, but it's all the little things they're doing every day when they're not with you that really add up. So it's important to understand that in a spa, usually the products are professional grade. They're going to have a lot more active ingredients that are truly going to impart benefits into the skin. And unlike a lot of, cheaper products at the drugstore, they're not going to be filled with synthetics, fillers, things that can really aggravate and strip the skin. So getting your clients on just a few simple home care products to start with is going to have huge benefits in the long run. So if somebody is just using bar soap and they're coming to your spa, don't suggest a vitamin C serum first off, because that is a very concentrated ingredient. But if their skin's pH is off balanced, they're not going to be able to absorb all the benefits of an expensive serum. So if somebody is new, just starting out with skincare, you want to suggest a great basic cleanser that's going to be non-stripping, a toner, and a great moisturizer to start. The last thing I wanted to mention, and this is also something I'm always working to improve on, is really tailoring your facials to that person specifically, and trying to avoid very general rehearsed statements and saying the same thing for almost everyone. I think it's really hard in the beginning when you're first starting out to kind of remember what every step or product or ingredient really does for a client. So as much as you can, just try to be present, try to listen to what the client really is there for, and try to just think, what can I do to really benefit them? What products and services can I really highlight for them that are going to address their hyperpigmentation or their acne? And just really work on being yourself. Something my boss told me was that she, of course, was nervous like everyone else when she first started out. And it wasn't until she relaxed and was able to really be herself and relate to her clients in the treatment room, and kind of, give up any sort of persona or, act that she thought she had to put on when she was talking to people. It was when she just started being herself that she started gaining amazing clientele, because they really appreciated her for her. And they sought her out specifically because they made her feel a certain way. She was being genuine and true to herself, so people obviously picked up on that authenticity, and I think that's really highly underrated. So thank you guys so much for watching. Those are just a few tips I have for estheticians. I hope you guys like this video. Please let me know if you do, because I have a lot more tips and I think of new ones every day. So if you'd like me to share those with you, I definitely can, and I'd love to do that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Oh yeah, I won't tell nobody how you got a body like